I cannot, ew. I can feel those bad vibes coming from you. Your energy, she's dark, she's nasty. I don't want her, ew.
Hi guys and welcome to my channel. I wanted to make a video about things that I don't like in K-pop because it's been a while since I made a more quote-unquote serious video. So as a disclaimer, the opinions that I share in this video are solely based on my own experiences as a fan of K-pop for over a decade and as a fan of the genre. I'm allowed to talk about the things I like about K-pop and the things I don't like, and so are you. So, instead of being rude to me and everyone in the comments, click off this video now and leave my channel and call 1-800 not my problem. But in all seriousness, if you cannot respect my opinions and everyone in the comments, I will report and delete your comments and block you. Additionally, this is not a hate video towards anyone that I mention. A simple definition of a superiority complex is the feeling of superiority or being better than others. People who have this type of complex often view people as lower than them in terms of status, rank or quality. I'm going to ruffle a few feathers, but a lot of K-pop fans, especially this year, have developed a superiority complex over their favorite groups, especially girl groups. Personally, I see a lot of girl group stans who have a superiority complex over girl groups and will use it to ridicule boy groups for no reason. No one is forcing you to like boy groups. But at the same time, if you have sentiments like, girl group stans listen to real music while boy group stans only listen to their faves because they're hot, take their clothes off and make noise music, you clearly see boy groups as inferior to girl groups and thus fall into the trap of having a superiority complex. Music at the end of the day is a subjective experience. Yes, it's possible to analyze music through an objective lens, but not everyone likes the same type of music. And you can't judge music based on the gender of the artist or the group behind it. I know not all girl group stans do this, but the ones that are quick to praise girl groups and criticize boy groups in the same breath are very narrow-minded in their views of boy groups, in my opinion. Now there also have been examples of boy group stans who have superiority complexes as well. Especially the groups that I stan as well. For example, when Stray Kids had both of their comebacks chart at number 1 on Billboard in the same year, being the second music act to do so after Taylor Swift, everyone on Twitter was complaining about chart manipulation. But when other groups did the same thing as Stray Kids prior, it was crickets. My point is that this is very unhealthy behavior, and it sucks the enjoyment out of K-pop for a lot of people. It's okay to take pride in your favorite groups, but don't use their achievements, their success on charts, or your own subjective tastes in music to put other groups down for the sake of lifting up and praising the groups you love. Need I remind you that one young got hate for eating a strawberry? A freaking strawberry! What in the HE double hockey sticks is wrong with you people?
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on. Perfect.
I get people not liking it when someone chews with their mouth open or talks with food in their mouth, but calling someone a pick-me for the way a person eats? And it's over a strawberry? How are you spending your time? How many books did you read? Well, if you ask me, you need to read the Bible if you're going to be that dumb enough to call someone a pick-me for the way they eat. In the same breath, I understand if idols get called out for doing something problematic or people offer constructive criticism on a group's music or their stage presence. But if you send death threats towards an idol over the most minuscule things, you clearly don't have your priorities in order. I originally wanted to make a video about my thoughts on the Omega X situation because I have a lot of empathy for the group. But I think other people do a much better job at covering the situation than I can. Situations like these remind me of why I think the entire K-pop industry is so problematic, and it breaks my heart hearing about the things that groups like Omega X, The Rose, the East Light, and Momoland have to go through. CEO Kang and Chairman Wang, and the rest of Expired Milk Entertainment need to be in jail for the way they treated the members of Omega X. And I hope they receive justice for their situation. I also hope that more and more K-pop idols are able to speak out about their experiences so that companies and the K-pop industry at large can improve this environment, and that idols are treated like humans and not a method to make a quick buck. With that being said, definitely help Omega X by spreading awareness and supporting and helping out in any means possible. Let's unite as K-pop fans and show that we don't accept any form of mistreatment in the industry whatsoever. Seeing people include this in their bio or profile honestly bothers me. I don't know. I just feel like if a group has done or said problematic things, the fandom should not be punished, because in most cases, a lot of the fans don't agree or support that type of behavior. I could list at least 10 groups on all of my fingers that have members who have said or done some questionable things. But in no way do I support those ideals or the actions that those idols did. Like, for example, if I stan a boy group and one of the members of said group said very sexist things in the past, I don't support any of that. And in fact, I would call them out on it if they did it again. But that does not mean I, as a person and a fan of that group, support that type of behavior. I think trying to police someone over who they stan is kind of ridiculous. You can call out a group or artist out when they do something wrong, and you can also call out fans who defend that behavior, but ultimately, it's up to the person who stans that group to decide whether they don't want to stan them anymore or continue supporting the group. I think the groups you stan does not correlate nor reflect your own personal views on issues like racism, cultural appropriation, or any other religious or social issues. Honestly, calling people out on their mess is the bare minimum for me. But telling people not to interact with you or not to follow you on Discord, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or other social media platforms is kind of reaching. You can't control or tell people who to stan or who you shouldn't stan. People can think for themselves and discern whether they want to like who they like or not. As long as people are not spreading hate or misinformation, making threats, or doing anything malicious, I think it's fine to also not like a group for a certain reason. But don't use that to guilt trip, gaslight, or bully other K-pop fans. Am I gonna get cancelled for saying this? I pray I don't. It truly feels like the end of an era, and I blame HYBE for the way they went about it. Honestly, smaller groups are basically pressured to either create a community on Weverse to keep their live streams from VLive if they transfer over to that platform, or compromise their content on VLive and use YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok to do live streams. Personally, I prefer YouTube because at least the groups are able to save their live streams and re-upload them on YouTube. I also don't like TikTok Live or Instagram Live because you can't hide the comments, and I don't want to read comments like "Opar, why won't you speak in English for your international fans?" Child, talk about a cringe, not allegedly or in my opinion. And of course, as an SM stan, we all know they'll try to make their own live streaming platform as we speak. Well, technically they do because of Beyond Live, but don't say I didn't warn you. This concludes today's video. Let me know some things you hate or dislike about K-pop. Like I said previously, we're allowed to talk about the things we dislike about the things we love, as long as we are not spreading hate towards anyone or being rude. If this video triggered you somehow even after watching it, that's not my problem. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to, please like and subscribe because you'll never know when I'll make another video. Have a wonderful day and please stay safe.